What's going on out there in the world tonight?
What's up, everybody? Once again, welcome back. If you have not tuned in before, this is the El Primo live edition.
For sure, for sure. And we got an interesting topic for y'all today.
Very much so. Very much so interesting. I know it's been on a lot of people's minds. A lot of people don't really understand what it is, what's going on, but tonight we're going to get you together.
Gonna get you all the way together. The topic is, will President Trump's plan work? And it says America Tariffed Review. And that's what we're gonna come at you with today. And as always, we're gonna have a little twist at the end. We're gonna put a little of that cooking on there, just to give you a little something to think about different. Now, ain't nobody on here no economist at the end of the day, but we having a conversation as we always do on this channel, because this is our think tank, and we're in here tapped in together, and we're trying to figure it all out at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we all in the same boat and trying to make it work. Now, I pull content from these two right here, and these are channels that I watch. This is Harry C. Financial. I got a little something of him on there, and the thing about it, he talks about the economy in depth, tariffs and all that. And anybody that see this, you probably should check him out, because he's really, really good, and he makes it simple for you. And we also have another gentleman right here. You know what I'm saying? Ruben Report. He's good too. Has different alternative perspectives. You can look at things just to kind of keep you abreast of what's going on. Now, this subject has everybody twisted
For sure.
because it's a challenge, man. And we're already experiencing inflation, which we know is inflation is a tax, as well as tariffs is a tax. But I want to start this off with a little something from my guy Heresy Financial. And I want you to remember this as we go through this discussion, and we're going to bring it full circle at the end. But check this out.
Or indirectly, because the government does not produce its own revenue. It does not have any surplus. It does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first, which means, definitionally speaking, taxation is extortion, at least in the United States. Hear me out. If I walk up to you and I tell you, hey, starting from now on, you must pay for my services. I'm going to offer you some services. You have to buy them from me. You have no choice. I don't even care if you use my services. You're going to pay for them. Part of that service is my protection. I'm going to protect you. Oh, and by the way, if you don't pay me, I will use my men with guns, with violence, to imprison you until you decide to pay. And guess what? You can't opt out of this system even if you decide not to use my services. You can't even leave the country and not pay for my services. And yes, the United States, outside of one other dictatorship, is the only country on earth that does this. Any other country you live in, the tax systems are voluntary. If you leave, not expatriate, you just leave, you are not participating in the system anymore. Therefore, you don't have to pay for it. They're voluntary, which means by staying, you are de facto agreeing to participate in that social contract because you are choosing to stay. But in the United States, it's different. There is no choice. Therefore, it is extortion.
Now, what's important with hearing that, because if you hear it the wrong way, it can sound harsh. But what's important is to identify the very first things he stated, which I'm going to be playing throughout the whole ep right here. I'm going to play the very beginning parts of what he said. You have to keep this in mind as we go through this. But check this out.
Or indirectly, because the government does not produce its own revenue. It does not have any surplus. It does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first.
Contrary to what we like to believe the government is rich, the government has all this money. But as he stated, the government cannot spend a dollar unless it takes a dollar from somewhere else. The government has no money. The government don't sell nothing. The government don't make nothing. The government, all it does is regulate what it takes. It takes a dollar, it spends a dollar. Whoever it take a dollar from, that's what it has to spend. Again, governments make nothing. The government sell nothing. Keep that in mind as we go through this. Okay, now the country is in the state that it's in, and it feels it's being taxed from every which way, whether you're Republican, Democrat. This is not a Republican, Democrat subject. So what we're going to do, we're going to hit the first little skit here so you can check it out, and we're going to get into the discussion. But remember, the government makes, the government sells nothing, the government has nothing. The government can only spend what it takes. Keep that in mind. Let's move.
What do you make of the present President of the United States and his tariffs?
It's painful to see what a ruinous decision from back in the 1920s being repeated. Now, insofar as he's using these tariffs to get very strategic things settled, and that he is satisfied with that. But if you set off a worldwide trade war, that has a devastating history. Everybody loses because everybody follows suit, and all that happens is that you get a great reduction in international trade.
What's going on right now? First, for most people that don't know, that's Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell.
Yeah, so
Yeah, he's a professor at Stanford. I mean, historically, he's been one of the greatest minds, and he's like 90 years old now. But he's an authority on the subject because his subject that he teach is economics. Now, what's going on right now? You have Trump that's putting tariffs on everyone, and in turn, like Mr. Sowell just stated, you have other countries placing tariffs in turn on the United States. But you have to look at this in the right context, within my opinion. And as we continue to go through, this is going to show something. But I think what is starting to show, and people don't understand because they're taking tariffs the wrong way. Tariffs, again, is a tax on the population because you have to pay more for these products. But what's happening, as I played in the beginning, there is a shakedown that's going on. The American public can no longer handle being taxed. We don't have nothing else. Again, the government can only spend what it takes. It takes a dollar, it spends a dollar. The government makes nothing, the government sells nothing. It regulates what it takes. What Trump is saying, you can no longer afford for us to take nothing else from you. You're being taxed up the wazoo. As my man Deep Thought told me a long time ago, in order for, and it's an analogy, in order for a gambling game at a house to go on, the house takes a cut off every hand. But eventually, if no one new comes in that game, the house will end up with all the money because the cut the house take is a tax. So the longer that game go on, the house eventually takes all the money till no one has the money, and the only one left is the house that has everything. So somebody has to come knock on the door and say, hey, let me in the game. That's fresh money in the game. The game can go longer.
There's new money in the system.
Is new money in the system. There is no new money getting in this system. And we're taxed so many ways, we can't afford to pay nothing else. So the government, since the government makes and sells nothing, it has to go find new revenue. Let's move to the next one.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, when he was president in the 1930s, said that you have to try things, and if they don't work, then you admit it, you abandon that, and you go on to something else, and you try that until you come across something that does work. Now, that's not a bad approach if you are operating within a known system of rules. But if you are the one who's making the rules, then all the other people have no idea what you're going to do next. And that is the formula for having people hang on to their money until they figure out what you're going to do. And when a lot of people hang on to their money, you can get results such as you got during the Great Depression of the 1930s. So if this is just a set of short-run ploys for various limited objectives, limited in time, fine, maybe. But if this is going to be the policy for 4 long years, that you're going to try this, you're going to try that, you're going to try something else, a lot of people are going to wait. I think what happened in the stock market recently, when things came down about substantially for quite a while, and I note that various people are holding on to their money before they do anything because they don't know where this is going to lead.
It's important to understand what he's saying here. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, said if you're going to try new things, there's nothing wrong with trying them, but also get off of these things if they're showing to be ineffective.
Yeah, admit that you made a mistake and move on.
And Trump told you that this is going to be a bumpy road in the beginning, but it's going to come back full circle. And that's what we have to understand. Now, a number of these other videos that we're going to play is going to start speaking about the regular everyday American that is invested in this system, that's in this system, that's struggling, and talk about the commitment that we've made to the world. But also you're going to hear them say something else interesting. Let me go ahead and play this for you.
The question here is this just the bump that Trump and Elon talked about? We're going to try to make things a little bit fairer. And then if we make things a little bit fairer, which again, already several countries have just completely removed their tariffs altogether because Trump did this, then we'll be able to produce things here in the United States again, right? We're a consumption economy. We don't really produce things. We used to have steel factories and things like that. Now we outsource everything. Everything you buy says made in China on it. There is a reason for that.
We are a consumption economy. We consume things. We make nothing. So what the government has been doing, I got a comment, I'm get you in a minute. The government has been leveraging your appetite for consumption to get deals from other countries on other things. But what's happening now is America is saying we can no longer afford to do that. Our population has been taxed to the hilt. There is no new money coming in. Now we have to get to the position to where we're making things and selling things. But again, remember, let me play this for you again.
Or indirectly, because the government does not produce its own revenue. It does not have any surplus. It does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first.
The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from someone else. It has to take it from us.
Someone.
We got some comments here. What's up, Moore? I see you out there, baby. What's happening?
I see you.
Yeah, for sure. What up, though, to you? You see, we got your man Thought up in here. Oh, okay. He already gave you a shout,
Thought. You gave me a shout out. That's what's up.
Sure. Good to see you up in here, man. Moore was up in this motherfucker yesterday, starting all kind of shit, Thought. I didn't even tell you about it. But I got to give more love. Matter of fact, I didn't tell you. Moore was in the barbershop terrorizing his people in the barbershop. He put me on loudspeaker in the barbershop and say, get him, Primo. But a shout out to you for that, Moore. That was love like a motherfucker, man. Appreciate you on that. But like I was stating, that you got to keep that in mind. We have been a consumer population, consuming everything, and the government has been leveraging our consumption or consumption dollars and using that as leverage on other countries. They can no longer do that anymore. We were producing nothing and outsourcing everything. There's a new day that's in America right now. So right now, the government has to put us in a position to make money so it can get money. Because remember, the government makes nothing. The government sells nothing. It can only spend what it takes. Okay, let's move to the next joint. I see you up there, Mo. Give me a minute, baby.
They, as the president says, Lawrence, these foreign companies, they charge us ridiculous tariffs. They engage in a lot of non-tariff practices like currency manipulation. That has been awful for Main Street in the United States of America. It's meant those diners, their customers, don't have jobs anymore. It meant those great steel mills, those great auto plants have closed down and their workers have been laid off. What I saw yesterday in the Rose Garden was incredible enthusiasm, because a lot of those workers, they've been working hard for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, young and old, were in the Rose Garden yesterday. They've never had a president who stood up for their jobs and stood up for American prosperity. They finally see something has shifted. There were Democrats out there, Republicans. There were union and non-union workers alike. They know this is a big change, but we need a big change in this country because what we've done, it just wasn't working.
So, Mr. Vice President,
it clearly was not working. And I'm sure everybody that's on here that's listening, I mean, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and those that will be listening and checking us out. We're in the bad spot. We're in a bad spot economically. And I know people feel how they feel about Trump, and I hear you. I understand. But what Trump is saying now is nothing different than what Trump said 35, 40 years ago. He said all these things 35, 40 years ago on Oprah, on Larry King. These same things that he's actually saying, but doing now. This is not about Trump. This is about America. This is about us having something or some type of revenue so we can take care of our families. But the government is our partner. The government is our partner only because the government can only spend, again, what it takes. So what the government is doing in turn, I'm about to play another video that I played in the beginning. What the government is doing in turn, what this one gentleman from Harrison Financial is saying, the government has extorted us. Now the government is pulling a mafia move on the world.
Thanks.
And you already got countries that's capitulating already to do zero tariffs on us, reverse position to try to buy more stuff or give us access to put more stuff into their market, in which there was no prerequisite initially to do that. And now that is starting to change. What you got, more? Facts. Most people are seriously delusional when it comes to what's really going on with the government. That's facts, more. That's facts all day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna run this back again because this statement I may seem like I'm overplaying it, but it's so important to understand. This is what our government has always done to us. Now he's turning around and he's doing it to the world in order to so we can earn more money again. Here's the thing, listen.
Or indirectly, because the government does not produce its own revenue. It does not have any surplus. It does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first, which means definitionally speaking, taxation is extortion, at least in the United States. Hear me out. If I walk up to you and I tell you, hey, starting from now on, you must pay for my services. I'm going to offer you some services. You have to buy them from me. You have no choice. I don't even care if you use my services. You're going to pay for them. Part of that service is my protection. I'm going to protect you. Oh, and by the way, if you don't pay me, I will use my men with guns, with violence to imprison you until you decide to pay. And guess what? You can't opt out of this system even if you decide not to use my services. You can't even leave the country and not pay for my services. And yes, the United States, outside of one other dictatorship, is the only country on earth that does this. Any other country you live in, the tax systems are voluntary. If you
So there you have it again. This is what the American government has been doing to the population. We don't have nothing else for them to take. So now Trump has came in and say, you know what? We're going to stop screwing you, the American worker, or whoever you are out there. We're going to consider stop taxing you from the federal level. And we're going to go and get some fresh money and bring it in so we can tax. Because again, I may be overstating this, but I want you to keep it in mind. The government sells nothing. The government has no revenue. The government makes nothing. The government can only spend what it takes. Keep that in mind. Now, what do they tell us when we're growing up? You know what? If someone tells you something, maybe you ought to believe them. If someone shows you something, maybe you ought to believe them. Now, I'm going to show you something that this man has been saying for 35 or 40 years. Check it out.
Had a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off. I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing. This country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been.
Now, I'm going to go and show you him saying on Larry King. Look.
Presidency. Could the Manhattan magnate be eyeing the White House, or is he just calling a bluff? He could have called up shows like this who would have been trying to have you come on. Why now?
Well, it was very easy. I was tired, and I think a lot of people are tired of watching other countries ripping off the United States. This is a great country. They laugh at us. Behind our backs, they laugh at us because of our own stupidity. And
your mama told you. Your daddy told you. Everybody told you. If someone showed you something, maybe you should believe them. If someone tells you something, maybe you should believe them. Oprah. You can tell Oprah shit. Oprah ain't looked that way in a long time. No disrespect, no bash women and none of that. Larry King, I think he had already made his transition. This man been saying this for a long time, and now you're surprised because he's doing what he said he was going to do again. I hate to keep beating a dead horse, even if the dead horse deserves it.
Or indirectly, because the government does not produce its own revenue. It does not have any surplus. It does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first.
The government know you broke. The government know you have nothing else. And historically, the government knows is it could continues to tax its population and take what its population don't have. It'll be not suggesting this, but populations react in the negative way.
Exactly. And what is a government or a bureaucracy's number one goal once it's created is to continue to exist.
Continue to exist, meaning protect itself from you. So what he's doing, he's going out and he's shaking down the world. I hate to keep playing this over and over again, but I'm going to play it again where this man talks about extortion.
or indirectly. Because the government does not produce its own revenue, it does not have any surplus, it does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first. Which means, definitionally speaking, taxation is extortion, at least in the United States. Hear me out. If I walk up to you and I tell you, hey, starting from now on, you must pay for my services. I'm going to offer you some services. You have to buy them from me. You have no choice. I don't even care if you use my services. You're going to pay for them. Part of that service is my protection. I'm going to protect you. Oh, and by the way, if you don't pay me, I will use my men with guns, with violence to imprison you until you decide to pay. And guess what?
Now, that's what the government has been doing to us. Now the government, what has America been doing? America has been the world's police. Now America is turning around and telling the world what it has told us, according to him. You're going to pay for my services. And for my services, I'm going to protect you. And if you don't pay for my services, we're going to come see about you. What Trump is doing, and they keep saying he's like a mafia boss, that's what he's doing. He's shaking the world down. I got a story for you. This channel is about talking about politics and different things, entertainment, but from a street perspective. This right here is my life story right here. Over there in Mexico, and you can find this on Amazon, dealing with, you see him right there. We had a situation in the streets where it was extremely tight. There had been no work in the streets for a long time, but you still had increments of work coming in that the prices were extremely high. And it was, believe it or not, is illegal, but tax still applied. Guys in the street were being strenuously taxed. And things slowed down real slow. I'm going back and forth across the border. I'm dealing with Juarez cartel at the time. And they want to start revving up, but things are moving slow. So what I do, I cut a deal with them. I tell them I can get them into different markets over here. I've been to prison for this, so it just is what it is. I can get them in different markets over here, and I convince them that if they come down on their prices, that things could move a lot quicker and increase the quality of what they were sending. What did I do? I found a way to impose a tariff on the cartel to relieve pressure on the street. So I was able to convince them. They gave me small increments at first, then they started seeing it moving faster and faster. And as it moved faster and the quantities increased, they continued to come down on the price for me. I did not raise the price on the street. The places where I was, people accused me and my team for messing up the economy because we lowered the prices so low. But on the other end, the cartels getting into the different markets, they were enjoying the revenue, especially when the wars kicked off, because they had to make quarterly payments to the government over there in Mexico, which you may have not knew. Okay, illegal activity, nobody's worshiping that, but I'm giving you an example of how I propose a tariff on the cartel to relieve the pressure on the street. And this right here increased the revenue for the guys in the street, and it made it move faster from a street perspective. You got some thought?
The thing people fail to realize is everything we're seeing is interconnected. The war in Ukraine, China building alliances in South America and Africa, America having a problem with its long-term allies, everything is interconnected. And it all boils down to our system can no longer be funded in the way it's been funded for the last, let's say, 60 years.
Yeah. And the whole way it's been funded was mostly other countries buying our debt. But those countries are no longer buying our debt because they're setting up their own systems to compete with ours. So you know what?
And on top of that, their populations are becoming consumers themselves. It used to be the most valuable thing America had was access to these consumers who would take your cheap Chinese goods, who would take your well-made sewn Peruvian sweaters, who would take all of these things. But now you're getting to a point where other nations across the globe, their populations will take those luxury higher end goods as well. They can afford them finally. So it's a reordering that's been overdue. We're just finally seeing it play out in real time, and it feels super abrasive
And
to
with him,
everybody. Of course, everybody is like, "Yo, what? It's craziness." I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to look at the bigger picture of it."
and with him saying that these other communities now, okay, we got our brother Jones that then slipped up in this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Good to
you
see
know, you
you,
about to
baby.
be on
Peace
some
to you.
shenanigans.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And as Thought just said, these other countries are not third world, they're developing. And now they have
Exactly.
their own communities that can purchase these things. And it's growing all over the world. So America's saying, you know what? Now we have to start doing made in America again.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we need to start being able to sell some of our products in your countries because the game is changing now.
Exactly.
And
And
that's what's going
that's
on.
the one thing that we still currently have going for us is that American products are seen as higher quality.
Yes,
And it's not even the products, it's the name brand that they're associating with.
exactly.
But we don't produce any of the things that are branded in America.
At all. But that is about to change. Because
Exactly.
remember. I played it to death, but I'm going to play it again. Once again, remember this.
Or indirectly, because the government does not produce its own revenue. It does not have any surplus. It does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first.
Do not forget that. We always look the government rich. They got money. The government ain't got shit.
Nothing. They go
The
out and
government
borrow
only
that money.
has what it takes. It can only spend a dollar if it takes a dollar. It don't sell nothing. It don't make nothing. So people remember this. Keep this in mind. The government sells nothing. The government makes nothing. The government only has what it gets from you. There's another institution like that, which we're going to talk on soon when we get on the, because I got it cut up already, when we get on the Marvin Sapp's little situation with the offering and all that. Because
Mm-hmm.
churches are also spots that can spend what they take.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind. They live off of the populations. Keep that in mind. Historically, they have lived off of the population.
Yeah, it's a tax, tithing.
It's a
You
yeah.
owe me, aka God, 10% of whatever you done generated. What that sound like?
Don't believe us. Look up tithe. Look up tithe. Look up the definition of tithe. Look up the legal definition of tithe and look up the regular definition of tithe. And you're going to be surprised what you see. The whole tax system that your governments implement today came from the church.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the whole tax idea came from. But, and you know what? That's in my other book that I've done. It's out on Kindle. We're waiting for the cover to be corrected so we can do the hard copies of it. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole history of it is in right there. How your regular system came with regular governments came from the actual spiritual end of things. You know, but we're not going to talk you to death, man. We're going to go on and get out your way. But I want to play this one recording that we played 1,000,000 times tonight. I want to play it again and ending, and then we're going to come back and get out your way just to keep this fresh in your mind.
or indirectly. Because the government does not produce its own revenue, it does not have any surplus, it does not make any wealth. The only time the government can spend a dollar is if it takes it from somebody else first. Which means, definitionally speaking, taxation is extortion, at least in the United States. Hear me out. If I walk up to you and I tell you, hey, starting from now on, you must pay for my services. I'm going to offer you some services. You have to buy them from me. You have no choice. I don't even care if you use my services. You're going to pay for them. Part of that service is my protection. I'm going to protect you. Oh, and by the way, if you don't pay me, I will use my men with guns, with violence to imprison you until you decide to pay. And guess what? You can't opt out of this system even if you decide not to use my services. You can't even leave the country and not pay for my services. And yes, the United States, outside of one other dictatorship, is the only country on earth that does this. Any other country you live in, the tax systems are voluntary. If you leave, not expatriate, you just leave, you are not participating in the system anymore. Therefore, you don't have to pay for it. They're voluntary, which means by staying, you are de facto agreeing to participate in that social contract because you are choosing to stay. But in the United States, it's different. There is no choice. Therefore, it is extortion.
A thought. You see more on this
Yeah, I see
bullshit again,
that.
right?
I see that. Of course he have. What better story is that? The great rivals.
Now, here's the thing. Well, more you was on the live when we did this, when we talked about this. And actually, did you bring this up? I don't know if you did or not, but we talked, and I got a little clip in that, and I did the little twist at the end like we usually do. And I talked about how Trump was saying, I erased it out of here, how Trump was saying that, you know, the whole little third term thing. And then a reporter asked him, what would he think about running against Obama? He said he would like that. And then I played on mute. I played how they were interacting at Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that, More? But More, look at More talking about, I know. And you did. Yeah, you on his stomach and shit. That's what that is. That's what that is. But I'm not saying that Obama already knew this. I'm not saying that he already knew this. But I pointed to him sabotaging, within my opinion, and now this thing came out in that book Fight, with him sabotaging what's her name? Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I felt that he did that and the prestige he will lose. But you are so right. He's out there in front. That's because I think he knew something. And matter of fact, I knew you was there More because you brought it up and got excited about it. What Jones saying here? They are all, oh yeah. That's they are. But what I'm thinking, what I was saying here is I think Obama, like I say, he kind of knew this was going to go on, but I stated something that my cousin showed me a while ago. I know we off the subject, y'all, but this is how we kick it. We may have one subject and somebody bring up something, we go. And it was saying, my cousin said he's seen something that's saying, oh, and you heard me say this, that Trump would be this what's that, 18th or 19th president.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold on, wait. We on the 47th or whatever, and then I'm like, oh wait, the continental United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump has on a number of occasions, and I started to put it in this episode right here, talked about how the United States had the most money between 1870 and 1913. 1870 was when they established by executive order the DOJ. The DOJ for the purpose of protecting descendants of slaves from the Klan and the 15th Amendment. The 13th, 14th, 15th Amendments are the amendments that the Reconstruction period. Okay, and that Reconstruction period was interrupted when monetary policy was taken from the executive and legislative branches of government. They gave it up and gave it to the Federal Reserve that came into existence in 1913, but legislatively, with the signing of the agreement, I think it was in was it 1906 or 1910 by Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
And that took us out of the republic status and put us in a democratic republic quasi type status, when republic is basically ruled by law. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going on, and that's what I believe personally myself, and Thought can say what he thinks, that Trump is trying to tear down. And I think the proof of that is when you seen the King of England send that his prime minister over here and invited Trump back for a second state visit that has never been done historically. Then we find out later that he wants to make Trump an offer to join the Commonwealth.
They need to buy your book. That's all I say. They need to buy your book.
Let me go on and show you this book again, man. This book right here will put you, I guess it's like what it say in the Bible about the forbidden fruit. And matter of fact, if you can read that for him, Thought, the back, because you wrote the back.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
It's right there on the screen, I think.
My fault.
Okay, bro, you over there struggling. I think I can see it. The Spiritual Currency by, of course, myself, my real government, explores, this is small, explores how ancient religious beliefs have influenced modern economic systems. The book examines how religious doctrines shaped early financial practices, including banks, trade, ethics, and I think that's it, concepts of debt and debits and credits. It devolves into how institutions rooted in religious traditions evolved into today's financial and government structures, affecting economic growth, capitalism, and geopolitical political order. And it's exactly what it's stating. That's what it's about. And I mean, that's no cap. And it's only what the Kindle is 126 pages. The hard form is but I think 106. I made it real short. All the sources are in the book, so you can look these books up yourself, man. Your mind is gonna be blown. What you got here, Mark? I've been telling folks about, and you know what, more? I can't doubt, because you sure put me on the speaker at your barbershop, man. So I can't do nothing but give you mad love, because that's what you sure enough did. What we got? We got some more comments here. What more got? Ever since you said what?
Oh no, I was gonna read it.
Go ahead, you got it.
Oh yeah. Ever since Trump got that letter, he been acting real funny. And what happened to them going up inside of Fort Knox? That's exactly what I said. Because it was that was the one thing I heard that had me ecstatic. I'm like, okay, let's see. Let's see. Because I'm a finance nerd. So I remember when the Germans asked for their gold back. And we stalled them out for years. And then when we gave it back to them, it wasn't the same gold that they gave us. And that was a big thing in the economic market for a while. But they dampened that one down.
Hey, Butch, but check it out. You said the original plan of the European Union had the U.S. as a member back in 1930. Okay,
Yeah.
did. It had the what? The U.S. The U.S. stands for what? The United States. But United States has not always been United States. Before it was United States of 1776. What was the name before then? So if you're going to, hypothetically, we're in silly season here, just having a conversation. If you're going to dissolve 1776, you have left the original continental United States of. So there's a different agreement that has to be. You see what I'm saying, Brother Jones? Let me see what more got here. If you get a chance, go back and review that video with him and the prime minister. Trump looks at the letter and he got shook.
He refused to read it.
Yeah.
Remember, the prime minister was like, read it out loud. Like, what does it say? And he was like, I'll let you say it.
Oh, actually, he read it and then he said, well, you know, this part you might want to read.
Mm-hmm.
And he pointed that out to him. And people not picking up the symbolism. Okay, now, since we in silly season, we having a conversation, right? We just talking. This is our think tank. We brainstorming some stuff. Okay, what did Trump say when he first came into office about doing what to Canada?
Making them the 51st state.
And doing what to Greenland?
And to the United States.
Who controls Canada? The crown. Mm-hmm. So the crown is the sovereign. Now, let's historical fact. Let's have a little fun. We know the Magna Carta came in 1315, I believe in June or July of 1315. 1215. July, just June or July. You had another agreement that King John III did with the Pope in 1213. The Pope, in which we're going to show some of this when we do the whole thing on Marvin Sapp, the Pope came to King John III and asked him to pay what we call today a tax, an ecclesia tax. And John III refused. And at that point, he invited the King of Spain to invade England. John III went around to his barons to try to get help. Baron, short for robber baron. He could not get support. He had to go back to the Pope and capitulate the terms. The Pope did not extend or make nothing extra on him. He made him sign the agreement to where he had to pay annually. But in the offer that he gave him the control of Ireland as well as Scotland. How could the Pope give these lands to him? Because the Pope owned them under a document called, you can Google this, the Donation of Constantine. Okay, now what happened under that, you're going to hear this word. Pay attention to this word, and then I'm going to get to some of the comments. Pay attention to this word. In the agreement that he did with the Pope, he reserved his privilege of his royal or regal attire and the privilege for his posterity to continue to rule under the agreement. The agreement was for 1,000 years. But if he entered into any other agreement, he would lose his sovereignty. A year and a half later, the barons inside of England start trying to overthrow John. John went to the Pope, but he entered into an agreement with the barons, and that agreement was called the Magna Carta. Magna Carta means what? Magna, great, Carta, charter. Look up the definition of charter. Charter will tell you that means corporation. Okay, now let's get some of the comments. Let me see more. What you got? Yes, he did refuse to read it out. Yeah. Sure enough. Now understand what I just got through telling you, guys, is in the book. It's in the book. Okay, I think Jones got some good stuff here. What Jones at? That letter probably was from the city of London, which is very different from. Okay, now here you go, Jones. Here you go, Jones. You just hit on something. All this is in the book. I got the documentation of all this in the book. Let me pull it up again, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tap in on this, Jones. So I'm gonna cover us up for a minute. Okay, y'all see the book there? Bam. Y'all can just go back, rewind that or whatever, but it's right in there. Now, Jones, I'm gonna go back to what you just stated here. Where we at? Okay, now you said that letter probably was from the city of London. It was not from the city of London, Jones. It was not from the city of London. The city of London was not created until 1218. 3 years behind that. The city of London then established 4 temples. And the 4 temples, you can Google this. Google this. You can Google it right now. Inns of Court, or England's Inns of Court, because it'll bring up other stuff. Inns, I-N-N, of court, as a king's court or a basketball court. It's going to bring up 4 temples. And those temples were the temples that they started to train lawyers and judges at. It set up the whole legal system for English law. And in that temple is where the Pope told King John III that if he could not transfer his payments to the Holy See, S-E-E, it's all in that book, fellas, that he could take it to the Temple of London. And in 18, then he told his priest that they could no longer practice law. It's in the book, man. It's in the book. Listen here. This got to be some good shit. If you sing, you sing more. Say, Listen here. More around here telling people about that cat named Primo and Deep Thought. We're gonna have some fun in here. We're gonna get some understanding.
All right. Okay. Like to this day, the sovereign of England must ask permission to enter into the city of London.
Mm-hmm. The city of London is a sovereign nation like Vatican City, Washington, D.C., and the city of London is the financial centers of the world. You know what? Hey, Jones, I got a curveball I'm about to throw to you. You know how over in Canada, and I think Australia, they got the crown? And when you be prosecuted, you're prosecuted by the crown?
Mm-hmm.
You know that the Spanish also have the crown. The crown, within my guesstimation, was one of your first historical forms of a corporation, brother. It's not the king and the queen. It belongs to the owners of London. Now, here's another fun fact. Brothers, all this, what I'm telling you, is in that book. It's in that book. Okay, we got more here. What more say? Primo, your book is only available. Yeah, remember I was telling y'all it's only available on Kindle for the moment because Thought, working with the guy that's doing the art on the cover.
Yeah, he dragging us on the cover.
Yeah, he dragging us on. He gave us the wrong size. So, but Thought on top of his head, and then we're going to have a hard copy ready. And it's only 106 pages. It's a quick read, man. But the amount, the books and all that's in there to where I'm pointing to everything, is probably, that book could have been like 1,300 pages. And the books is in there where I'm pulling, where you can get the books for yourself, because there's a whole lot of other information in there, man. It's a whole lot of other information in there. Well, Bush got something. What'd you say, Butch? Butch, the city of London set the price of gold. I bet that letter was from, it was from the city of London. That's why that man blinked 2, 3. You see him, boy, say that nigga was shook.
I told you, when I watched that and the way he reacted to that letter, I was like, ooh. I'm like, he don't even want to say this out loud. I'm like, ooh.
Listen here.
And then the
Seymour.
way the prime minister kept prying them, like, so
Mm-hmm.
do you accept? Will you come see the king again? Like, I was like,
Yeah,
ooh,
made him say it in front of everybody that he
hmm
accept. He's like, but you didn't give your answer.
you're
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right. Like, I need you to say this.
But see, more you know more. You know, I know what I'm talking about. Because look at you. You probably never heard nobody say nothing about the crown of Spain. They always talking about the crown of England. You ain't never heard nobody talk about the crown of Spain.
Exactly.
But there's the crown of the Dutch as
Which
well.
power-wise was much more powerful than England for the
That
longest time.
listen, the first nation state. Listen, folks. The nation state is a relative recent creation. The first nation state outside of the United States in 1776, or was it 78, was the Spanish nation state. The nation state is a concept. It's in the book. And it explains to you what monarch is. The sovereign is the king. And it's accounting, people. There's two sides. There's a private side. There's a public side. The sovereign is on the public side, God's side. The monarch, I say, wait, I may have said it wrong. The sovereign is on the private side. The monarch is on the public side. The sovereign cannot interact with the public on the public side. The sovereign can't. So he has the entity of the monarch when he's dealing with the state. The same reason, I ain't gonna give y'all too much. You got to get the book, man. It's all in there. It's gonna blow y'all mind, man. I'm listen here. I'm about ready to buy the damn book for you because I want y'all to read it so we can really have a conversation, man. Because I need me and Thought, we need somebody to bounce this stuff off of, man. You know what I'm saying?
The facts.
The crown is different from the royal, like, all day, all day, all day. So you boys are y'all on your way. Y'all on your way. Yeah, see, more you need the hard copy. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to go back, read at least 3 times. But see, you like me and Thought. We write in our books.
Yeah.
We write in our books when we could notes and the whole thing. So, I know that's why I know that the hard copy is more important than the Kindle. Because we research. We mark, we fold the pages and all. Our
Double
books
cross check what you came across, all of that.
Exactly. And it's really a study guide, man. It's really
And the
a study
crazy
guide.
thing is, like, once you go through it, you will see everything. Everything. Like it pulls the blinders back.
You see that Thought?
Yeah, for sure. Like, most people don't. They don't understand how deep this actually gets.
Listen, man. Me and Butch talked all day, man. I was wondering where his ass was the last couple of days because I ain't see. Me and Butch talked damn near all day, man. We hit back and forth all day. You know what I'm saying? So this book, man, this book gonna put y'all. Man, listen, y'all brothers already cold. Y'all already cold, but you gonna see the play, bruh. I'm going all the way back to before Alexander the Great. The different philosophers and showing that Alexander the Great, that they say conquered all the known world or whatever at that time. I'm showing that he conquered the 3 places that had all knowledge: Egypt, Persia, and India. Buddhism, Persia, Zoroastrianism, or whatever you want to talk with Samaria and all that, in Egypt. They took all the books and brought it back. So y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. But see, y'all, I ain't gonna say y'all aren't ready. Y'all actually ready. But see, I need y'all to get this joint so we can get some real deep conversations, man. Because these conversations, you think these conversations we got not deep, it ain't nothing compared to what we gonna have. And trust me, I'm not gaslighting you brothers at all, man. At all. What we got here? Yes, brother. There is so much to say. Just the point about the name change of the country and the Constitution. Yeah, man. Yeah. And what they do, they always build on top. They never destroy what's up under. because you're constantly, you know what? I'm gonna do this, and I ain't gonna say because y'all got me tripping. Y'all got me tripping. I'm going. Hold on. Let me see what Bushy said here. Oh, okay. He talking to you, Thought.
Yeah.
Oh, this discussion needs. Yeah, but see.
Oh yeah, we gonna have an individual discussion about this entire topic.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay, Butch must have had to get out of here. Yep. What you got? Butch, we need a series on this topic. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, listen, we gonna have it. We gonna have it, brothers. We gonna have it. And I just need y'all, like I said, to grab the joint. You can read it, and that way you will see the research for yourself. Because at the end of the day, like me and Thought, I said, this is our think tank, man. We get together and we discuss and we bounce stuff off of each other because we're trying to figure things out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say this, and me and Thought gonna get out your way. We are. I don't know if I should say this. Should I say it, Thought?
Say it.
Okay. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go. We always, when you look at history and you look at religion or spirituality, it always go back to what? The Ark of the Covenant. It don't matter who you thought had the Ark of the Covenant. Was it the Egyptians? Whether it was the Jewish people? However you want to read that, is however you want to read it. But it allegedly ended up in the hands of the Queen Sheba. I believe it was at Ethiopia or something that I can't totally remember. Okay, because she had a child with Solomon, according to the Bible. Okay, what was in the Ark of the Covenant? It was supposed to have been something written, the Ten Commandments written by God's hand. What does covenant mean? Covenant means a promise. So whoever had that ark had a promise from God, right? Represented by the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, now by the Ark of the Covenant being a promise, when me and you make a business deal today, what we call that? A contract. A contract.
Yeah. When you enter into this covenant,
That's
they
why
still use that term in real estate to this day.
still use it. And then in the beginning, way back, when countries made deals with each other, because they were not countries then, they were tribes. They had what? Treaties. A treaty is what? Contract. What you got, Butch? Remember, these ideas are ancient and have been used to control people way back into antiquity. These ideas are ancient, and I don't agree. I don't agree that they were used to control people. I believe they were used to control people when a certain representation of humanity came along and used it to control people. Because a certain group of people have spirituality in their DNA. But that's why I need you to read the book. Because when you read the book, Butch, your mind is going to be blown. What you already know, you're going to see, you're going to be like, damn. I swear to God to you, brother. I swear to God to you. Okay, agreement. What to say? Yes, they do still use it all the time. That's for more. And we got it. Is that a Black's law definition for covenant? It's not a Black's law dictionary for covenant. But I mean, I never looked. I don't think I ever looked covenant up in Black's law. But there's another. I got a couple of fraternity brothers that are attorneys, and they use Black's law in law school, but it's I'll have to look at the other dictionaries that they use now. They still use the Black's Law Dictionary, but they use the definitions that are in these two dictionaries. Now it's a big ass dictionary too. I bought it. More frequently. Now here's the thing about definitions. I talked to a guy I did time with, and he was this joker was cold.
Oh yeah.
He was getting judges took down off the bench in federal court and state court. Because this joker is who explained sovereign to me. Because I was talking about sovereign this, and he stopped me in my tracks, man. This man cold. He said there's no such thing as sovereign. You're using the word wrong. No, I'm not, because you're sovereign. You can do this. He said, okay. Love this man. He said, pull your dictionary up, look up the word sovereign. That's it right there, more. Webster's Third World. Yeah, that's it. He pulled up the let me pull this up so other people can see it. He said, look up the word sovereign. I looked up the word sovereign, I read it, like, yeah, I'm right. He said, no, look up the word sovereign and read it in its 5th and 6th definition. It messed me up because I thought I was still right. Sovereign means that you're the sovereign of a land, that. He says, so you're using the word sovereign as if it has unlimited power, and it's not limited. It's limited. I'm like, sovereign ain't limited. He said, yes, it is. Went back. He said, read the definition again. You're the sovereign of a land. So what happened when you come off that land? Damn, you're not sovereign no more. He said, in the prerequisite to being sovereign, you got to have what? Is it like a sovereign parent? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Land. In that book, what you're going to notice that there's a debate. Let me show you this book again. There's a debate. And the debate is jurisdiction. Gentlemen, jurisdiction. And in this debate, what you're going to see being debated by the theologians of that day is the definition of jurisdiction. The Pope had access to 2 keys of jurisdiction. Two keys of jurisdiction. Look in that book, man. Yeah, but that's one of the dictionaries, more. And that dictionary there, now hold on. This is what I learned. Black's Law is cold because the Black's Law basically begins your research for you, especially when you get to looking at Spain. And with Spain, it gives you, because they're the first that recognizes the Pope's authority in the spiritual, also in the physical. 2 keys of jurisdiction. Okay. Now,
where do you see 2 keys at now?
Yeah, it's on. You look at the Holy See, SEE. You see the hat, and you see the 2 keys.
Exactly.
A lot of them damn statues around it has a man holding 2 keys. Okay. World brother, is a difference between man and mankind, just like God and gods. That is true. But where you going with that? Okay. We'll do good. Thanks for the assist, for sure. That's why I love it when we talking to each other, man, because we learning and we sharing, we building. That's what it's all about, man. Learning and sharing with each other and building so we can figure this shit out. I will have to listen to this one again. You see, you say I'm going to listen to this one again. Listen more. I mean, my bad, more. But listen, I'm not gaslighting you, brothers. I'm not telling you, brothers, no BS. The book, I think, is what, $12 or something. I think it's $5 or $6 on Kindle or something.
Yeah.
I made it cheap for a reason. I do believe this book will be like the think it said The Blacks That Died Before Jesus. That book, small book, is worth like, I got it for like 175. Small book, like 100 and some pages. But that book was going for like $250. And I got it for the name of the book from Phil Valentine. And I believe this book may end up being one of those type books because it has so much information in it. So much information. And like I said, it gives you all of the sources. I think books mean God as in governments, ordinance, and departments of justice. Okay, you got okay. But I don't know because that's the wrong spelling. Because that God should be the supreme being, right? And the other God of G-O, capital G-0, I mean O-D, could mean judges and governments or whatever. But I guess a bit depending on the content in which you use. And I guess that could be correct. Okay, got some more on here. Let me see what he got. That's why you see in God we trust on the buildings in the Okay. Now you know you didn't really started something, right? Because that God with the capital G-O-O-D in the content in which you're using it is actually not talking about the governments. It goes back to them two keys of jurisdiction and the God that made this world.
And who claims to be his representative.
Don't say too much, thought. Don't say too much. Don't say too much. You mentioned a point that I made, the man and mankind reference to. I forgot. It will come back to me. Yeah. So I think more catch what you're saying, thought. So yeah, man, we didn't been on this damn thing an hour and 12 minutes, man. Y'all didn't took this whole thing a whole nother place. But again, that's what this is for. This is for us to build. This is our think tank to where we come in together. We kick different topics. We talk about what we talk about, but it can go anywhere. Because at the end of the day, we do understand that we are spiritual beings, and sometimes the spirit enters scenarios to take you where you need to go. And we all here for that. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, that for those that don't understand and don't know what we in silly season, baby. We in silly season. We talking about a bunch of silly things. You know what I'm saying? But yo, peace to you brothers, man. Peace to you brothers. Let me show my my little books again. You know, this is my life story right here. And this is the different volumes. This is the joint right here that we just got done talking about that I really think is going to do a whole lot for us spiritually. It's going to do a whole lot for us, you know what I'm saying, as a people, man. And as a people, that don't just mean only one set of people. That means as a people in general. But the information in this joint is so deep. And as we often say in our community, you know what I'm saying? If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
What the hell, John? What the hell is you talking about, John? He said, "Hey, brother, hey, yo." I think him and Moore cutting up again, man. That's what I think that is. So yeah, man. Hey, man, for all y'all that hear this, man, like, comment, man. Let us know what you think about the thing about tariffs or whatever you might want to touch on, man. Speak on it. Let us know. Talk to us. We talk back. Like I said, give us some likes, give us some subscriptions, and also, man, share this, man. We want our community to get bigger because we need everybody that know to tap in, and for those that don't know to tap in, and maybe you'll learn something or we learn something from each other, because at the end of the day, it's all different perspectives, ain't nobody the total guru. The knowledge in the world is just too vast. You know what I'm saying? We're going to read this from Bushy. We're going to get on out of here. You mentioned the beings before that ruled, which the laws and rules were not required or needed for. Oh, but damn, you started shit again. You mentioned the beings before that ruled, which the laws and rules were not required or needed for. When you say laws and rules were not needed for, as we described when we described the Magna Carta started, it placed rules for another world, if you follow me, because there was a different world before the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta starts establishing rules for a different world. And that world was created by the doctrines, what they call the doctrines of discovery, starting in, I think, 1356, 1452, and 1492. But prior to that, you had a document of 1306, if I'm not mistaken. The document of 1306, you had an ecclesia edict. Now, understand edicts, and even in Spain or in Mexico and Spain, when laws are passed now, they still call them edicts. These edicts were coming directly from the church at one point. And if you all, which you're familiar with law, but say follow, law, when you're stating certain things in legal documents, you have to cite a law or a case law. But if you go look at this particular document, you will see that there is no case law being quoted because there was no case law in existence at that point. The first form of case law, as we understand it today, in that document, you will see scriptures being cited within the same brackets that case law is today. If you follow me. That is also in that book. So when you say which the laws and rules were not required or needed, I'm stating before a certain group or a certain I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there. But I think you understand.
Yeah, he definitely get it.
You understand what I'm saying. But
yeah, he definitely gets it.
Okay, let me go and get the hell away from y'all before y'all get me in trouble. Deuces, we fuck with you, y'all fuck with us. Goodbye.